Medicos, let us move towards the part 3 of chapter 1, cell injury and adaptation. In this part 3, we are going to see about hyperplasia and hypertrophy. There are already 2 parts on this first chapter available. The first part we saw the cell response to different type of stimulus. Then we saw what do you understand by cell adaptation and hypertrophy. And here in part 3, we are going to learn about hyperplasia and atrophy. So first of all, what do you understand by the word hyperplasia? As the term suggests, hyperplasia. Hyper means increase and plasia means in number. Okay. But what happens here is size remains the same. Okay. So hyperplasia. Now what are the 2 mechanisms which is responsible for hyperplasia? So first of all, hyperplasia means increase in number, right? Which means there is increase in proliferation, right? And this increase in proliferation can be because of 2 things. The first is growth factor, right? This growth factor leads to increase in transcription, right? And then we have increase in protein synthesis. And the third one is increase in division of stem cells. Okay, so stem cell division is increasing, that is there is increase in number of production, increase in differentiation, which at last lead to hyperplasia. So what are the examples of hyperplasia? The first one, obviously, I just like in previous lecture I mentioned that every time we are going to deal with the examples, we are going to see physiological example and then we are going to see about the pathological example. So the physiological example of hyperplasia is, yes, in last lecture only we saw, it is pregnant uterus. Okay, this pregnant uterus is example of hypertrophy and hyperplasia both together, right? Even the pregnant breast is an example of physiological hyperplasia. Why I am saying it is example of physiological hyperplasia? As soon as the pregnancy, there is delivery of baby, the uterus will come back to the normal size, and after the baby stop feeding on the breast milk, the breast will go back to its normal size. Now what do you understand by pathological hyperplasia? Right? So the for pathological hyperplasia we have endometriosis. 1 minute, I will just write down this proper spelling. Endometrial hyperplasia. Okay, so what do you understand by endometrial hyperplasia? So we are going to see a little bit in detail. Okay, so this is a normal endometrium. Okay, so this is the femoral end, then this fallopian tube, then we have this is the body of uterus, then this is cervix, and this is vagina. Okay, so this is the female reproductive system, and we have myometrium. So this one is myometrium. Okay, I will draw myometrium in blue so that we'll able to appreciate it in the proliferation in red. So this is myometrium, and normally what happens is above myometrium we have this endometrium growing, which shades up in every menstrual cycle. So this is endometrium. What happens in endometrial hyperplasia is that due to increase in estrogen, this endometrium will proliferate more and it will invade the myometrium. So what is happening is there is invasion of endometrium into the myometrium, and this is what we call it as endometrial hyperplasia. There is increase in proliferation of endometrium and entering that endometrium into myometrium. So this is endometrial hyperplasia. Okay, now let us move toward what you understand by atrophy. Okay, as the name suggests, atrophy means decrease in atrophy is decrease in size and number, mind it, size and number of cells. Okay, so this decrease in number and size of cell, that is atrophy, has three different types of mechanism. The first one is decrease in protein synthesis. Okay, protein synthesis. As the protein synthesis decrease, there is decrease in cell size. So what do you understand by now? This other two mechanisms we are going to deal is, first one is we have ubiquitin protease degeneration pathway. And other is autophagy. Okay, so as the word suggests, autophagy, auto means self and phagy means eating. So eating of self cells is autophagy, and then we have ubiquitin protease protein degeneration pathway. So